Alright, quick update on Avalanche again. So it seems like we've backtested this, very bullish trend line. Every time I draw like a new trend line on Avalanche, it does seem like, we started off with this one here. After a couple of videos, we've got a new trend line in town where, it's even more bullish. You can draw it either way. I prefer it down here. But yeah, it does seem like Avalanche is steadily increasing. We backtested this level. We are now heading off to the races pretty much. So, we can actually draw it like this. I think this is kind of more valid now. We do have the touch points down here. We obviously do have touch points here and all the way down here. So we did initially say the apex of this triangle was going to come in on the 10th of April, but as now we do have a new ascending trend line, it does seem like the apex of at least this miniature triangle, like, do bear in mind, we could break down from this and then still break out of this big macro triangle. This is more of a miniature play that's only been in place since the 21st of Jan. So all in all, I mean, Avalanche is holding up very well. Most of the altcoins are holding up very well. So, I mean, Avalanche isn't necessarily doing too much in the macro term that the general markets aren't doing. But if we do zoom out, we're now above this 618. I think we just did this today. So yeah, we did. We finally had a pump above the 618 from basically the start of this uptrend down here to the all-time high, and obviously we are well above, the 0.5, 618, 786 of this region here. So every time I make a new video on Avalanche, it seems like we're smashing through resistance. The RSI is still below the heart line and the money flow indicator is still pretty low. So what that shows me is there's still a lot of potential growth to come in for Avalanche. I do think, if Bitcoin keeps on pumping, if we do break out of this inverse head and shoulders, then, in my opinion, in the short to mid-term, Avalanche would, I think it's going to be very likely that we break above the top of this trend line and start going off to the races. And, the only other level of any significance, I'd say, is up here at 150. And that is because we've broken above the 618 here, we've broken above the 786, or we used it as support. I mean, we never even broke below it. We're above this 618 now. We were, obviously we were above that before, my bad, but now we've broken above the 0.5. We've back tested this trend line down here, which lines up with the 0.5 that we've got over here. So I mean, all in all, we're breaking all market structures to the upside. Every fib is getting decimated. We're constantly making higher lows and higher highs. So yeah, all in all, Avalanche looks really good. I would be sitting on the sidelines until we do break out of this this trend line here. Once we did break out, somewhere around about 83, I think we would have a very, very nice long, as the only place that I see it getting stuck on is this micro high, which is a 20% jump up, and I think that would only be short-term resistance before we do basically almost double. That would be a 77% increase. So that's what I'm looking for Avalanche. In my opinion, it's gearing up for a move to the upside. Obviously, it's constantly moving to the upside. We've also formed a nice little W pattern. So, if we could break out the top of this trend line and come and finally break above the top of this W pattern at 86, we've got a range of good things going for Avalanche right now. In the very, very short term, it would be extremely nice as well to get above this 200-day moving average. But do bear in mind, I wouldn't put too much emphasis on that. I mean, the number one thing I trade is fibs, and we're above both 618s, we're above the 0.5. So yeah, I mean, all in all, this is bullish. Even though we're below the 200-day, I imagine we would be coming up there in the next couple of weeks or so. Like I said, the apex of this is the end of March. I think we would have a decision before the end of March, and that's all I've got for Avalanche today. So once again, none of this is financial advice. This is just my opinion on the market, and you've always got to do what's best for you. Peace.